Okay. So, good morning all once again, and yes, good morning. So I think all the students have joined now. Okay. Students, yesterday we discussed the we were discussing the human reproductive system, and yesterday I discussed with the human male reproductive system the structure, the function of the different parts of the human male reproductive system. And today we will be discussing the functions and the different parts of the human female reproductive system, the parts and their function, along with the discussion of the different functions of the different parts. Okay, and as the students of I think 10A informed me actually before the online classes, when the two sections were separated. In one section, the revision of the sexual reproduction in the flowering plant was left, and in one section it was ahead. No problem. When I will be completing the female reproductive system, so one day again the sexual reproduction in the flowering plants I will revise with it. Okay, is it fine? I think with the students of 10A or 10B, it was the matter, as because in offline classes we were ahead with one more day. Okay, fine. So now let me start with today's workout, and today we will be discussing the human female reproductive system. So first of all, let me bring the image. Is the image visible to all? Is the image visible to all? Okay, fine. Yes, Khushbu, you have raised your hand. Do you have anything to say? Okay. Okay, fine. This is the diagram for the, okay, Khushbu. This is a diagram of the human female reproductive system. If we start with the first part, that is the ovary. How many ovary you can see in the image? How many ovary you can see in the image? How many ovary you can see? Two. That is, a pair of ovary is present in case of female reproductive system. After this, from the ovary, a tube is present, and this tube is called fallopian tube. The other name of fallopian tube is oviduct. Okay, the other name of the fallopian tube is oviduct. This fallopian tube leads into a wider part which is called uterus. Remember, students, first we will discuss the structure and then we will be discussing the function of the different parts. The uterus then opens into the narrow part, the vagina, through an opening which is called cervix. Okay? Through an opening which is called cervix. So let me tell you about the parts again. A human female has a pair of ovary. Ovary leads to a tube which is called fallopian tube or oviduct. This oviduct or the fallopian tube opens into the wider uterus. Uterus opens through the vagina, through the, we can say, opening, or it acts as a guard, that is a cervix. Okay? Regarding part, it is clear to all? Regarding the parts, is it clear to all? Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Yes, I got the feedback. Now we will discuss the function of each and every part, for which I have another image for you all. Yes, I think the image is visible to all. Image is visible to all the students. Fine. Okay. Now students, this table is a table which show us the different structures of the female reproductive system and their functions. Let us discuss the first part. Let us discuss the first part. First part is the ovary. Pair of ovaries there. The function of ovary: produce the hormone estrogen and progesterone. Students, though the chapter control and coordination was, or we can say is, deleted from this and the previous academic session, then also we have done in the class 10 course, the control and coordination, the hormone and its role. Can you recall what is the function of the hormone estrogen? We did in that chapter. What is the function of the hormone estrogen? You reply through the chat box. What is the function of the hormone estrogen? What is the function of the hormone estrogen? Anyone? What is the function of the hormone estrogen? Yes, no matter, take your time. Development of female sexual characteristics. Development of female sexual characteristics. Okay. Yes, I want the answer from all the students. Okay. Regulates growth, development and physiology of the human reproductive system. We should be specific, okay, that whose, either male or female, a develop of secondary sexual character in female. Yes, students. Yes, some of you have given the correct answer. Yes, estrogen has two important functions. First, it controls the development of female primary sex organ and also controls female secondary sexual character. Student, can you tell me female secondary sexual character? What is female secondary sexual character? What is female secondary sexual character? Very good. Feminine voice, less body hair. Very good. So estrogen, yes. So ultimately we will sum it up in this way, that estrogen performs two important functions in human female. First, it controls the development of human female main primary sex organ, and it also controls the development of female secondary sexual character like feminine voice. Then comes the next hormone, progesterone. Progesterone. Acha, one thing student, I would like to link over here, that yesterday we discussed the hormone testosterone. Always remember, whatever function testosterone is doing in case of the male reproductive system, same function estrogen is doing in case of female reproductive system. So if you can remember one, you can easily make up the answer for the next hormone. Like testosterone was controlling the development of male primary sex organ, as well as it was controlling the male secondary sexual character. So the estrogen is also doing the same function in case of the female. It controls the development of female primary sex organ and it also controls the secondary sexual character. Okay. Now, the next hormone which is secreted from the ovary, progesterone. Any idea what is the function of progesterone? I am asking students this question because we did the chapter control and coordination where we have discussed the hormones and their function. What is the function of progesterone? Okay, maintenance of pregnancy, maintaining the lining of the uterus, okay, maintaining the lining of the uterus, okay. Correct. It maintains the pregnancy and it controls, or we can say maintains the control the uterus changes during the menstrual cycle. At the mid of the menstrual cycle, this is our next topic of discussion, that what happens when the egg is not fertilized. But since we are rediscussing these portion, so I can easily ask from here you all that since we know that the lining of the uterus at the mid of the menstrual cycle, the lining of the uterus, if the egg is not fertilized, the lining of the uterus breaks, okay, and blood and mucus comes out. This is called menstruation. Who is maintaining the lining of the uterus? It is the progesterone. Okay? And the second function of the ovary, it is a site of the egg production, ovum. What is the other name of ovum? Is there any other name by which we can remember ovum? Is there any? Very good. Okay, egg. Okay, Khushbu, egg, ova. Correct. Very good. And student, a term is given over here, site of ovum development and ovulation. Ovulation means release of ovum at the mid of the menstrual cycle. Okay, that is called ovulation. Your next part, that is the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube or the oviduct, it carries the ovum from the ovary to the uterus, and the main function, site of fertilization. Student, what do we mean by fertilization? Any idea? You must be having the idea. I should not say any idea. You must have this idea. What is fertilization? What is fertilization, students? Fusion of male, okay, fusion of egg and sperm, fusion of the male sex gamete and the female sex gamete, that is called the fertilization. So it is the fallopian tube or the oviduct which is the site of fertilization. This is one of the very important part of the female reproductive system, because this question maximum time in the board examination it has been asked that what is the site of fertilization in case of the female reproductive system. Now after this you have the fimbriae. Remember students, fimbriae are the projections of the fallopian tube over the ovary. But in class 10, NCERT labeling fimbriae is not there, so we will avoid this labeling. Okay? Though I am telling you, if suppose this is the ovary, on the ovary the projections are there, that is called the fimbriae. It actually collects the ovum from the ovary and brings into the fallopian tube. But we will not be discussing this part, because in 10th level this labeling is avoided. We will come straightly to uterus. Okay, we will come straightly to the next part that is uterus. Uterus is a pear-shaped organ in which embryo and fetus develop involved in menstruation. So after fertilization, when the sperm and the ovum or the egg meet, what is formed? When the sperm and the ovum meet, what is formed? Students, when the sperm and the ovum meet, what is formed? Very good, the zygote. The zygote, after some time, or we can say as the development proceeds, the zygote is called embryo. Yes. So uterus is a place where we can say the embryo is, or we can say the embryo is embedded. Okay. It is we can say a place where the embryo develops, or we can say the fetus also develops, and the uterus is involved in menstruation because it is the lining of the uterus which breaks if the egg is not fertilized. Okay. The next part, cervix. Actually, students, cervix we are knowing as the guard between the vagina and the uterus. It separates the vagina from the uterus, holds the fetus in place during pregnancy, and dilate during birth to allow the fetus to leave the uterus. That means during the delivery is called parturition. During the delivery of the baby, it is the cervix that dilates and allow the fetus to leave the uterus. So it acts as a guard or the opening between vagina and the uterus. And the last part, vagina, it actually provides a passage for the sperm and the menstrual flow. It acts as a birth canal and also the receiver of the male penis. Okay? Is it clear to all? The function of the, is it clear to all? The function of the different parts of the female reproductive system? Okay. The function of the different parts of the female reproductive system. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, Pushkar. I repeat once again, no problem. I think there was some net issue from your side. You are disconnecting and again joining, no problem. See, what are the parts of the female reproductive system? Ovary, fallopian tube, fimbriae, uterus, cervix, vagina. Ovary collects, or we can say the ovary is a site of egg production. It produces the hormone estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen controls the development of female primary sex organ as well as the development of female secondary sexual character. Progesterone controls uterus changes during menstrual cycle and also maintains pregnancy. The next part, fallopian tube. The fallopian tube is actually the site of fertilization and it carries the ovum from the ovary to the uterus. That means it is one of the major parts of the reproductive system because it is a site of union of the sperm and egg. Then comes uterus. It is a place where the embryo gets implanted for further development. And since the lining of the uterus breaks when the egg is not fertilized, so definitely we will be saying it is involved in menstruation. And cervix, which separates the vagina from the uterus, it also holds the fetus in place during pregnancy, and during the delivery of the baby, it is helping. Vagina is the external canal which receives the penis, or it acts as a passage for the sperm, and it also, we can say, it acts as a birth canal. Pushkar, is your doubt clear? All the students, the female reproductive system part is clear to all? Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay. Students, now from the diagrammatic aspect, one worksheet. You can see in the diagram, and the word bank is also given over here. You can take the screenshot, and parallelly you can also draw the diagram. Now the labelings are there. Remember student, one very important thing, this type of question comes in the board examination also, that sometimes they will ask you to draw the label diagram. Sometimes, like yesterday one question as assignment I gave you all, that human male reproductive system and the labeling with the functional part or the functional aspect. But this type of diagram nowadays it comes, we can say usually. So let us do, what is the name of the part labeled number 1 in the figure? All of you send your reply in the chat box. And take the screenshot also of this. You will be doing in your copy also. Okay. 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 Correct. See, so many students are there in the class, and this, all the students should participate in this. 35 students are there. Mahi, don't jump. Don't jump, Mahi. We are with the first labeling. Please don't answer the second labeling. When I will ask, then you will answer. Yes, you all are correct. Number 1 is fallopian tube or oviduct. Fallopian tube or oviduct. But students, some of you, when you have written oviduct, now be careful. In the word bank, it is given fallopian tube. Excuse me. In the word bank, it is given fallopian tube. So better we should write that only. Though you are correct, it is the oviduct also. We can call it as oviduct. But in the word bank, since it is given fallopian tube, so go with that only. Second labeling, number 2. Number 2. What is the labeling of number 2? Okay. 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 Anjali, don't write all the labelings togetherly. Don't jump. Just now I have said don't jump. Correct. Ovaries. No, Diksha, you are making one mistake. Vaishnavi also making one mistake. The labeling is on both the ovaries, so it will be ovaries, not ovaries. Be careful. Okay, fine. Now, the labeling 3. What is the labeling 3? Okay. Okay, very good. Labeling 3. No, Pushkar, wrong. Labeling 3 we are talking about. We are talking about labeling 3. Yes, correct. Labeling 3 is uterus, not cervix. Yes, it is the uterus, not cervix. Now, labeling 4. Labeling 4 is your cervix. Yes, correct. Now it is correct. Cervix. Cervix. And the last labeling, number 5. Number 5. Number 5, yes, is the vagina. Correct. Okay. Good. Okay, fine. Okay. So this was the worksheet from the diagrammatic aspect. Please take the screenshot definitely, and you will be writing in your copy also. Okay. Now, let me come to the next workout. One minute. Okay. Yes, yes. So next workout. Next, next will be the question which yesterday, in case of the male reproductive system, we have given you. The same pattern of the question will be followed for the human female reproductive system. Write down that question. Draw a draw a draw a diagram of human female reproductive system. Draw a diagram of human female reproductive system and label the following parts. Draw a diagram of human female reproductive system and label the following parts. Number one, part that produces egg or ova. Part that produces egg or ova. Part that produces egg or ova. Next, number two, part where sperm and ovum meets. Part where sperm and ovum meets. Part where sperm and ovum meets. Parts where sperm and ovum meet. Parts where sperm and ovum meet. Next, number three, part where embryo is implanted. 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 Next, part that act as a guard between vagina and uterus. Part that act as a guide between vagina and uterus. Part that act as a guard between vagina and uterus. And the last part that act as a passage. Part that act as a passage for sperm to enter. Part that act as a passage for sperm to enter. For sperm to enter. Okay, I think you have understood the question. It is the same like that of the human male reproductive system, where in the labeling you have to give, okay, I repeat the last one, Rohit, part that act as a passage. Part that act as a passage for the entry of sperm. Okay? Part that act as a passage for the entry of sperm. Is it clear? Rohit? Okay, fine. Now, all the students, have you drawn the diagram just now of the worksheet which I have given? Have you done? So now, all the students, switch on your camera and I will see the diagram. Wait, let me enable you first. Yes, I have enabled you. Now I want to, yes, one by one, all the students focus the video towards your copy. Just now said you to draw the diagram in the worksheet which I have provided. I want to see your work. Yes, all the students switch on your camera towards your copy. Okay, very good, very good. Yes, very quickly. Some of the students have done very quickly. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, one by one, all the students show. Okay, Ritu, you can switch off. You can. Just okay. Yes, all the students. Let me see. Yes, here Abhigyan, Anand, Vaishnavi. One by one, you all show me your workout by focusing the camera towards your copy. Both yesterday work and today's work. Okay, if suppose today, okay, good Anand. If suppose today diagram you have not been able to complete, then also yesterday worksheet diagram of the male reproductive system. Can you remember the worksheet? We were doing a match the column. Yesterday we did a match the column of the function of the different parts of the human male reproductive system. All of you show me the worksheet. Yesterday's worksheet. All of you show me yesterday's worksheet. Ayushi, Mahi, you all are showing me the diagram. Okay, yes, correct. Yes, understood. Yes, you have given the numbering and the labeling of the parts. Okay, Mahi, Anjali, Palak, okay. Next. Yes, yesterday I have given the diagram, yes, with the labelings of the function. Rohit, Kunal, Khushbu, okay, very good. Yes, I can see your workout. Okay, next. Preeti, yes, I have seen. Anushka, okay, I have seen. Okay. Yes, Abhigyan, I think, yes, I think I have not seen your copy till now. Abhigyan, show me your work. Yesterday's worksheet. And today's worksheet, student, tomorrow in the class, I will ask to show. So all of you must complete the worksheet. And at end, I will see all the copies. I want to see the worksheet. Okay, Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi, this is today's work. This is today's work of the female reproductive system. Yesterday, I want to ask. I have said yesterday's work, that is a male reproductive system with the labelings of the functional part. Now, let me call by name, whose a copy I have not sent till now. Wait. Abhigyan. Abhigyan, your work. Abhigyan, your work. Ab okay, you were not present yesterday. Okay. Then wait. Anand, I have seen. Anjali, this all I have seen. Isha Rai. Isha, Khushi, Niharika, Sneha. Isha, Khushi, Niharika, Sneha. The moment I said I will see your workout, many of you have left the class. See, it was 35 students, now 22 students are there. Yes, Sneha, Vaishnavi, yesterday's workout. No, you are showing me the classwork, Sneha. This is the classwork, class notes. Yesterday I have given you the question on the diagram of the male reproductive system, labeling with the functional parts. This is also the classwork, Sneha. You were present yesterday, I remember. You were present yesterday, Sneha. Why you have not completed your work? Sneha, I am talking with you. Give me the remark. In the chat box, write why you have not completed your work. You were present in yesterday's class. Remember, students, be regular in your online classes only, whatever assignment. Tomorrow, be careful. I will be at the end. Yes, Khushbu, you copy it in the fair copy because at one place all the varieties of the question will be there which will be helpful. You do not have. Okay, Sneha, you must, okay. And tomorrow again, student, before ending tomorrow's class, before 5 to 10 minutes, I will see today's assignment. Okay? Okay, Sneha, you must complete it. Okay? Okay. Okay. So, tomorrow, okay, we will be doing the further. Okay. Thank you, students.